The IWW is a radical organization for workers. Our basic idea is that our society is divided into classes. There are some people who own everything and are constantly making life worse for the rest of us. And it's the job of everyone else on this side to try to improve our lives and eventually get rid of those parasites. Any leader is always going to want more power. So if they're a nice leader and they're not taking enough power, then someone is going to come along and replace them and take more. So we have to work to not have any benevolent masters.
And how long have you been at Wobbly?
About 3 years. So far, I think that the IWW has a lot of potential. I haven't thought that everything we've done has been the best, but we are, I think, doing some of the most interesting things I see going on. And I think we have a lot of potential to contribute to coming struggles between workers and those who own everything, or colloquially bosses. Locally in the Bay Area, we've had continual organizing going on at recycling shops in Berkeley. Both the shops where like homeless people take recycling, as well as the ones who pick it up from people's houses. We've also organized a fabric shop in downtown Berkeley, and we've had some organizing going on at movie theaters in Berkeley. These are just the official drives where we've gone for recognition. There have also been a lot of more unofficial things where we've made demands in the workplace and followed through on those demands, and where the IWW has sort of acted as like a nucleus of like radical workers in the workplace. So for example, just this past week, several ESL teachers at a ESL school, English as a second language school in San Francisco, went out on a wildcat strike. They don't have a union, and they're not even striking for union recognition. They're striking for what I would consider class demands, which is an immediate 30% raise and a return of healthcare, which was taken away in 2004. And I think one of the important things about the IWW is that we recognize that if workers have the strength to impose those things on the boss, they don't need official recognition, and they can get it anytime they want with any sort of contract that they want. And that you only need a contract like that when you're weak and you haven't built enough solidarity with your coworkers to impose what you want on the boss.
Now, and what do you think about labor law in the United States?
Well, I think it's a pile of horse crap. Unfortunately, I can't say it's much worse than labor law everywhere else. I think the ones who write the laws are the same ones who own the property, so they're going to write labor laws in a way that benefits them. And I think one of the tendencies we've seen in the United States, along with everywhere else, is to go from the law considering unions as illegal conspiracies of workers towards a law where it recognizes the place of unions and it specifically tries to encourage corrupt leaders growing up within unions so that the unions don't get too out of control and the unions can actually control the workers.
Now let me ask you a question. How is the IWW different from other unions?
Alright.
Sorry about that.
Right. I'd say one of our big differences is that we believe that the workers and the employers have nothing in common. There's never going to be peace as long as some people own, skyscrapers and other people are living on the streets. There's always going to be this social conflict, and we recognize that, and we think that we're on the right side of that social conflict. And we also recognize that an organization which exists for that social conflict has to have the most possible internal democracy and build leaders, rather than simply have leaders who go in and tell workers what to do.
What are some of the materials here?
So we've got several materials here. Some deal with the history of the IWW, including our official history, which is the first 100 years book. And this is interesting because it talks a lot about different IWW organizing, even where it wasn't historical, where it didn't make it into the books that historians write, but where it had a very interesting impact. Another book, which is not written by an IWW member, but is very influential on us today, is called Punching Out by Martin Glaberman.